Tattva Bodha. Tattva Bodha. There is a text attributed to Shankara, the great 8th century philosopher of Advaita Vedanta, that has served for over 1,000 years as the first door into the teaching of non-duality. Shankara's historical details remain contested, scholars debate the dates, question the attributions, and cannot fully verify the biographical legends. What is not contested is the precision of what this text accomplishes. Advaita Vedanta holds that the deepest source of human suffering is a case of mistaken identity, a confusion between what observes experience and what is merely experienced. The Tattva Bodha, which we might translate as the direct recognition of what is real, exists to correct that confusion. It does so not through devotion or ritual, but through careful, methodical inquiry into the nature of the one who is reading these very words. This is that text, offered now in English, as it has been offered in Sanskrit for centuries, as an invitation to look clearly at what you actually are. The 4 qualifications. Before engaging what follows, 4 qualities of mind are necessary. Without them, the teaching will not take root. With them, it will do its work. The first is the ability to discriminate between what is permanent and what is impermanent. The body ages, thoughts arise and dissolve, emotions come and go, something remains constant through all of these changes. Learning to notice what persists through every shift in state, that is the first qualification. The second is dispassion toward finite results. No finite action produces an infinite outcome. No amount of accumulated effort, merit, or achievement breaks the cycle of seeking and loss. This qualification asks that you stop expecting the temporary to deliver what only the permanent can offer. The third is mental discipline, the capacity to concentrate, to withdraw attention from its restless drift into sensation and distraction, to remain content with present conditions long enough for genuine inquiry to occur. A vibrating instrument cannot take a precise measurement. The mind must settle before it can see clearly. The fourth is a genuine longing for liberation, not self-improvement, not richer experience, liberation from the entire framework of seeking itself. These are not moral requirements, they are practical prerequisites. A microscope requires focus before it reveals what is hidden. The 3 bodies. You are not what you think you are. You have confused the one who observes with 3 structures that are observed. The first is the gross body, flesh, blood, bone, built from food and returning to food. Notice that you say my body. That possessive pronoun is evidence. You witness the body's hunger. You witness its fatigue. You are not the hunger or the fatigue. What possesses cannot be identical to what is possessed. The second is the subtle body, mind, intellect, ego, breath, the organs of perception and action. This psychological apparatus produces thoughts, emotions, memories. You witness its fluctuations. You observe anger arising in the mind. You are not the anger. You observe the mind attempting to solve problems. You are not the problem solver. The witness is distinct from what is witnessed. The subtle body's character is shaped by 3 fundamental qualities that the tradition names the gunas. Sattva is the quality of luminosity, clarity, lightness, the capacity for understanding. Rajas is the quality of activity, motion, passion, the drive toward action and acquisition. Tamas is the quality of inertia, heaviness, obscuration, the tendency toward rest, dullness, or confusion. Every function of the subtle body, every perception, every thought, every emotional response arises from some proportion of these three. The subtle body is never without them. What you are is prior to all three. You witness the mind when it is luminous. You witness it when it is restless. You witness it when it is dull. The witness is not modified by any of the three because the witness is not composed of them. The third is the causal body, the seed state from which the other two emerge, the potentiality for manifestation, the root of the forgetting that makes the other two seem to be you. You witness even this. You are aware of states of clarity and states of confusion. You are not clarity, you are not confusion. You are what remains constant through both. All three are limiting adjuncts, structures through which awareness appears to take a particular shape. They are costumes. You are the one wearing them. When the costume is removed, you remain unchanged. The 5 sheaths. Within those 3 bodies, there are 5 nested layers. You are none of them. The first is the food sheath, the physical structure built from consumed matter, requiring constant maintenance, subject to growth, disease, and decay. You observe its hunger. You witness its pain. You remain unmodified by its fluctuations. The second is the vital sheath, breath, circulation, digestion, the biological engine. You witness energy moving through it. You observe the breath arriving and leaving. You are not the breath. You witness the heartbeat. You are not the heartbeat. The third is the mental sheath, emotions, desires, fears, memories. You witness thoughts appearing in your awareness the way clouds appear in a sky. You observe fear arising and dissolving. You are not the fear. You observe desire pulling at attention. You are not the desire. The sky is unchanged by the weather that moves through it. The fourth is the intellectual sheath, the capacity for discrimination, decision-making, the sense of understanding. You witness your own comprehension. You observe the intellect analyzing these very words as you hear them. You are not the analysis. Even your capacity to discriminate between self and not self is something you witness. You are aware of your own understanding, and therefore you are not reducible to it. The fifth is the bliss sheath, deep sleep, profound contentment, the subtlest covering of all. You witness even this elevated state. You remember having been in deep sleep. You observe moments of profound peace arising and passing. You are not the peace. You are what remains when peace comes and when peace goes. The one who remembers was present throughout. Each sheath is experienced. You are the one experiencing. You witness the entire apparatus of experience. You are not the experience. You are not the apparatus. You are the irreducible ground in which experiencing occurs. The arising of the world. The tradition does not leave the outer world unexplained. If awareness is the ground of everything, the question naturally follows: how does this world of solid, varied, particular things come to appear? The text works through this carefully. Before manifestation, there is pure undifferentiated existence, awareness prior to any distinction. From within that, the first stirring of differentiation produces 5 subtle elements. These are not the physical substances we encounter in daily life. They are subtler than that, the root tendencies or essences from which physical experience is later constructed. Space is the first. Its distinguishing quality is sound, the possibility of vibration, of transmission, of the separateness that allows one thing to be heard as distinct from another. From space comes air, whose quality is touch, the capacity for contact, pressure, movement. From air comes fire, whose quality is form and visibility. From fire comes water, whose quality is taste. From water comes earth, whose quality is smell. Each subsequent element carries forward the qualities of those before it. Earth, the last and densest, carries all five. But the subtle elements alone do not produce the familiar solid world. There is a further process, and the text names it quintuplication, the mixing of subtle elements to produce gross ones. Each subtle element divides in two. One half of each remains as itself. The other half is subdivided further into 4 equal portions, one of which is added to each of the other 4 elements. In this way, every gross element contains something of every other. Nothing in the manifest world is purely one thing. The body you inhabit is this mixture. The food that built it is this mixture. The air you breathe is this mixture. The material world, in its full variety and density, arises through this interweaving of the 5 in every possible proportion. From this quintuplication come the gross elements in their familiar forms. Space as experienced, air as experienced, fire as warmth and light, water as liquid and flow, earth as solidity and ground. From these 5 gross elements the gross physical body is formed. From the subtle elements, corresponding subtle instruments are formed, the organs of perception, the organs of action, the inner faculties of mind and discernment. This is the structure of what appears. None of this is separate from the awareness in which it appears. The elements arise. They combine. They produce the world of objects and the instruments with which those objects are perceived. But the awareness in which this entire arising occurs is not itself an element, not itself a product of mixing, not itself subject to quintuplication. It is the unchanging ground in which the process takes place and to which it eventually returns. The 3 states. Consciousness moves through 3 primary states. You remain constant through all of them. In waking, there is a world of solid objects, social roles, and physical needs. You navigate this state. You witness yourself navigating it. You are not this state. You are not the navigator. In dreaming, there is a world of mental projections, symbolic narratives, emotional dramas. You experience this state. You witness yourself dreaming. You are not this state. You are not the dreamer. In deep sleep, the world dissolves. No objects, no dreams, pure rest. You return from this state refreshed, and you know you slept. Something was present to register the absence of waking experience. Something witnessed the absence of witnessing. You are that. In waking, you are aware of the body and the world. In dreaming, you are aware of mental formations. In deep sleep, awareness rests in itself. You are the awareness that is identical across all 3 states. Only the content changes. There is what the tradition calls Taittiriya, a Sanskrit word meaning simply the 4th. This name can mislead. Taittiriya is not a 4th state to be entered after passing through the other 3, as though it were a room further down the same corridor. It is better understood as the substratum, the underlying ground in which all 3 states appear, rest, and dissolve. It is the screen on which waking, dreaming, and sleep are projected. You cannot be in Turiya the way you are in waking or dreaming, because you never left it. The three states arise within it. They pass within it. The substratum remains unaffected by their arising and passing, the way a stage is unchanged by the plays performed upon it. You are this substratum. You are not a state of consciousness. You are what consciousness rests on, moves through, and returns to, and what was never not present. The mechanism of error. The root error is superimposition. You have overlaid the properties of the observed onto the observer. The body is mortal, and so you think, I will die. The mind is limited, and so you think, I don't understand. The ego is separate, and so you think, I am alone. These are cases of categorical confusion. In dim light, a rope on the ground appears to be a snake. When the light brightens, the snake appearance dissolves. The rope was always only rope. In the same way, when discrimination becomes clear, the appearance of being a separate, limited, mortal person dissolves. What was always present becomes visible as what it always was. This error is not moral. It is perceptual. You are not becoming something new. You are recognizing what was never absent. The forgetting operates through three movements. It veils what is real, it projects what is not real, and it creates attachment to the projection. Direct recognition dissolves all three at once. The identity equation. The invariant, what you actually are, is identical to the ground state of all being. This is the central claim of this teaching. Individual consciousness appears to be separate only because of limiting conditions. Remove the conditions, and the appearance of separation dissolves. Space inside a clay jar appears to be separate from the total space of a room, but only because of the jar walls. Break the jar and the space inside merges seamlessly with the space outside. It was always the same space. The jar never actually divided space. It only appeared to. In the same way, what appears to be individual awareness is always already universal awareness, appearing as though bounded by a body and a mind. The boundaries are not real. They are functional. They are the jar. This is not a merger of two things that were previously separate. It is the recognition that they were never actually two. The individual awareness never truly became separate. The ground state never truly became multiple. The appearance of separation was scope restriction, a contraction in understanding, not a fact about reality. The phase transition. Liberation is not an achievement. It is the dissolution of the framework in which achievement is sought. No action can produce liberation because action reinforces the actor, and the actor is precisely what is seen through in this recognition. Meditation, ritual, service, study, all of these are useful for preparation, for purifying the instrument of inquiry. None of them produces what they prepare for. Liberation comes through knowledge, not the accumulation of information, not the refinement of experience, not a gradual approach across years of practice. Direct recognition of what is already the case. You are seeking what you are. The seeker is the sought. This cannot be obtained because it was never absent. It cannot be lost because it was never separate. The shift does not happen in time the way events happen in time, because time is a property of the appearance of separation, and you are not inside that appearance. You are what it appears inside of. Time is the rhythm of arising and dissolving, but you are the changeless awareness in which that rhythm pulses. You were never moving through time toward liberation. Time was moving through you. Liberation is the recognition that you were never carried by it. You do not become free. You recognize that you were never bound. The liberated state. The one who has seen clearly continues to move through life, to act, to relate, to use the body and mind as instruments. But there is no longer a confusion that the instrument is the one holding it. Like an actor who performs a role completely, with full feeling and presence, while knowing that the character on the stage is not who they are. The role is inhabited without the actor being lost in it. Emotions arise and subside, thoughts appear and dissolve, the body ages and eventually dies. None of this touches the awareness in which these things appear. The one who sees clearly sees the same world that everyone sees, but the perspective has shifted. Instead of a person having experiences, there is the recognition that experiences are appearing in what awareness is. This is not detachment in the sense of coldness or distance. It is accurate perception. A wave does not need to detach from the ocean. The wave needs to recognize that it was always ocean, temporarily taking the form of a wave. The ocean does not mourn the waves rising. The ocean does not mourn the waves falling. The ocean was always the ocean.